What's up, everyone? It's Nima here, and I have a question for you. Have you guys ever played a video game that then opened up the door to, like, comic books or any form of other media, books, whatever, that just, like, really made you get into something? Now, I've had this experience when I was a kid. I think I played the PlayStation 2 game. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a WWE game. It was like Shut Your Mouth or one of those. And I actually got into wrestling because of this game. Well, I just had that experience again. You see, I've had a number of friends tell me, you gotta check out Demon Slayer. And I've seen Demon Slayer everywhere. Like, a lot of the shops I go to and stuff like that, they have Demon Slayer stuff. I know the logo and even like the look of the characters more than I've ever known anything else about the game. Well, I don't know if I've mentioned this, and some of you might follow me on Twitter or whatever. I talk about the fact that I discovered just maybe a couple months ago that my library has tons and tons of games. It's one of those things that, like, I'll walk in there and I swear I'm the only one that knows that they have games, because every time I go in there, they've got like a full stock and they get new games all the time. And I saw a Demon Slayer game. I'm like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And my God, is it fun. I noticed it's like the full price of a AAA title. And honestly, I think it's worth it because I have really, really enjoyed my time playing that game. This isn't a full review. It's just kind of just my thoughts, because this game came out in June, I believe. So I don't know. It probably wouldn't be right to do a review this late. But I figure there might be other people like me who kind of wanted to understand what this series was about, maybe see if it's right for them, and like me, discover that this game is like the perfect portal to that world. And again, Demon Slayer is something that's been recommended to me time and time over again by a lot of my friends who are into anime. I'm just not that much into anime. It's one of those things like I just don't have time for, you know? I have to make a priority list, and unfortunately, like, getting into like anime just isn't on my list because a lot of times they require a lot of viewing, and I just don't have that. And so, you know, I don't think I would have checked it out if it wasn't simply renting it from the library where I pay absolutely nothing and I'm able to keep the game pretty much as long as I want to. I've noticed this has been a great asset and a great tool for me just to, like, check out different games. I found so many really good ones. By the way, I was wrong about Kirby. It's totally worth it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, back to Demon Slayer. So in Demon Slayer, though, if you don't know, and by the way, if I slaughter any names, I completely apologize. Still getting used to the series. I'll just give you a quick rundown of the story. So you play as Tanjiro. And he's the oldest brother in the family that recently lost their father. So he has to take a lot of responsibility on. In an effort to make the New Year's an amazing experience, Tanjiro goes to the city or the village to go sell a bunch of coal. And this took him a lot longer than he thought. And as he returned, he found his entire family, which is massive, by the way. He has like 4 or 5 brothers and sisters. He finds that they're all massacred, including his mom. Blood everywhere. It's a really messed up scene, as his family is brutalized by what he suspects is a demon. He can smell the blood. That's one of his things, is he can smell demons. But with this happening to him, he decides to join the Demon Slayer Corps. And after a year or so of training, he's finally able to become a Demon Slayer. You get the short end of this when you're playing the game. Like, this is really the prologue and kind of gets the game going. And this is what I like about the game, though, is not only does it tell the story in a pretty short way, but you also experience it by going out and doing these missions. Now, in a lot of ways, this game kind of plays off as an action-adventure kind of game without like a lot of platforming or anything. You definitely have control over him as you navigate yourself through the villages and through the countryside and places like that. But when you actually run into a demon, then it turns more into like a fighting game. And it's, I think, kind of reminiscent of, like, in a way, the Dragon Ball Z fighting game, where it's just like over the top and there's crazy moves, lots of like just insane action, and that's a lot of what you're doing in this game, which is so much fun. Like, the point where the story maybe gets a little confusing or old or repetitive or any of that, you're then met with like all this action. It opens up further as you start caring about the missions he's going on and the people you're saving and the demons that you're slaying. But it also gets really cool as you start finding and are able to fight as other demon slayers. You kind of team up with different people here and there. One of them is actually your sister, who, this is why you're on your mission to begin with, is because your sister got turned into a demon. Yes, she was brutally murdered, but apparently she had demon blood that entered her body during the attack, and now she's a demon. But she's an incredibly rare demon because it didn't really cause her to turn. not fully. She has control of herself. And so the entire game, and then the entire story, really is about Tanjiro tracking down the one that turned his sister and killed his family. And, I don't know what the plan is. I know killing him is not going to help, but to maybe see if he can turn his sister back into a human. That's where a lot of this is like the whole jumping point off of this game. Now, to go back into it, because I don't want to ruin any more of the story, I will say though, there is a ton of other story aspects that aren't exactly related to Tanjiro personally, but really fun and really cool to check out and to experience. But the gameplay, controls are top notch. Graphics, it looks amazing. It's just one of those experiences I played with the Nintendo Switch where people complain about the performance or like the new Pokemon, it doesn't run right, it doesn't look good. Well, how is this game able to pull it off? How is Persona 5 able to pull it off? I don't know, I don't really blame Nintendo hardware as much as I blame the programmers, but that's just me. But this game though is a good example of that, where it looks really pretty, it performs really well, it's fantastic. It's worth the $60, and I don't say that very often, especially about a game that is arguably a fighter. And I'm not really big into fighters, but this really wraps it up because it has such a good story, and it has a lot of content, honestly. This is a very long game. The thing I don't like about it is I do know that there are purchasable, DLC and characters and stuff like that. I really don't like that. I prefer if a game would just release, you pay your money, and then everything else is unlockable as you play. But you do get other unlocks in this game, and I think it's just really fun. I haven't really experienced a game like this in quite a long time. I think the closest thing is maybe one of those Dragon Ball Z games, but this is really good, and I really, really enjoyed it. To the point that I'm actively looking for a physical copy, and I'm going to purchase because I want this game in my library. That's how much I really like it. But let me know if you guys are Demon Slayer fans, and should I keep watching? I'm now into the anime. Not very far into it, but does it still hold up? Does it keep going? Let me know your thoughts on Demon Slayer. Anything and everything. Let me know what games you're playing right now, or what games you want me to cover. But like always, guys, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy, because you make me happy. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.